Opoda Farm in Bondo cracked open, not for politics, not for celebration, but for history. Dr. Oburu Oginga Odinga, elder brother to the late Raila Amolo Odinga, had arrived. His vehicle rolled through the compound slowly, flanked by family, security, and elders from across Siaya County. There was no fanfare, just the weight of silence, broken only by the murmurs of mourners gathered along the fence. For the Odinga family, this was not merely an arrival, it was a signal, the official opening of the ancestral home for the nation's mourning to begin. In Luo custom, the eldest surviving brother carries the symbolic authority to open the gates of the homestead after death. By doing so, Oburu Oginga was performing a sacred duty, inviting not just mourners, but the spirit of community itself to grieve alongside them. Behind him, a convoy of elders, clan heads, and youth streamed into Opoda Farm. Women wailed softly, men stood still, heads bowed. At the heart of it all stood Oburu Odinga, 82 years old, the family's patriarch now by lineage and by fate. His arrival meant one thing: the transition had begun, from brother to patriarch, from politics to heritage, from life to legacy. Standing before a sea of mourners, Oburu spoke with a voice that trembled but carried authority. It was a simple message, but in that simplicity, it carried generations of meaning. Opoda Farm, also known as Opanda, is no ordinary homestead. It is the cradle of a dynasty, the resting place of Kenya's first Vice President Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and his wife Mary Odhiambo Odinga. It is where Raila Odinga grew up, where his political journey began, and where his son Fidel lies buried. Soon, it will become the final resting place of Raila Odinga himself. And so, when Oburu stepped onto that soil, it was not just family tradition, it was history cycling back to its roots. The land that birthed a struggle now prepares to receive its warrior home. As the day wore on, the compound transformed. Drums began to sound in the distance. Cattle were headed to the edge of the homestead. Luo elders, some draped in traditional regalia, gathered near the shrine that holds Jaramogi's grave. They had come for one purpose: Tero Buru. Tero Buru, which literally means to raise dust, is a ritual rarely seen in contemporary Kenya. It is performed after the death of a Jadwong, a great elder, leader, or warrior. In this case, the ritual honored Raila Odinga, a man considered by his community not just as a politician, but a generational custodian. The ceremony begins with men driving cattle around the compound. They chant ancestral songs, blow horns, and beat drums, raising dust into the air. It's not chaos, it is communication between the living and the dead. The dust represents transition, the release of a spirit from one realm to another. The horns summon the ancestors. The cattle, symbols of wealth and continuity, cycle the homestead to cleanse it from shadow of death. And for the Luo, it ensures one thing, that the departed spirit travels peacefully to the world of the ancestors, leaving blessings, not misfortune behind. But the ritual's timing, so close to Oburu's arrival, carried deeper symbolism. It marked the passing of the mantle. For years, Raila Odinga was not just a political leader, he was the spiritual head of a movement. Now, in silence and ritual, his brother steps forward as custodian of the family's legacy, a living link between Jaramogi's generation and Kenya's future.
There are a few cases of muggings and extortions within our city that cannot be allowed in law because it's criminal. So we request that all our mourners just do it in a peaceful way and observe the law to the letter.
So we are going to open at least for the public 3 gates, entrance and exit, and the VIP area be controlled, and where the, as Salman Rimba said. So we expect this to be the venue, and we called all the supporters to come and mourn, but not to be rowdy.
The political undercurrent is hard to ignore. Every Odinga transition has mirrored Kenya's political heartbeat, from Jaramogi's clash with Kenyatta to Raila's handshake with Uhuru and now Oburu's stewardship of the family home. The story has always been both personal and national, and as elders raised dust around the compound, it felt like more than a farewell, it was a renewal. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Reader, Kering Chibet.